Okay, so next step on the TDI swap. A couple things I'm waiting on. Well, not waiting on. I haven't ordered the adapter plate. It's kind of expensive. The adapter plate for the TDI to the Jeep transmission is about, I think it is 500. Nope, I wish it was 500. It's like $920 after shipping. So the thing we're going to be working on today is going to be the engine mounts. This is where on the Jeep I see a lot of guys, or nope, this is where on the TDI I see a lot of guys making their engine mounts. I'm going to flip you around. So this is the exhaust intake side, and it's going to be a combination of, from what I remember reading, this right here is going to be the turbo oil drain. It's just got a plug in there right now. I just need to pull the drain off of the other engine, and then that'll replace that one right there. But the hole here, here, and then from the research I've done, I believe they're using either this hole or this hole. I can't remember exactly, but basically, you could go off of like these two holes up to here. The turbo's gonna sit way out here. So we've got, all this is wide open. So we just gotta make room for the drain, which goes into the block here. So it's gonna be a combination of these holes. I'll look online and see where the best place is to tap into this block. It might be here and here. But from the research I was doing, I believe it was like a combo of these two holes and then this hole up here. So that's going to be for this side. And then if you come around to what we'll call the passenger side of the block, it's a little bit busy in here, but basically it's going to be these two holes, if the camera will focus, these two holes, and then this hole up here above the oil dipstick tube. So that's really your only spot on the pump side of the engine that I'm aware of, really. I mean, you've got this whole oil filter set up, you've got all of these guys down here, so you really only have two accessible bolt holes and then one up there. So we're gonna do this the easy way. I'm not a great CAD guy. Some people are better at this than I am. I'm basically just gonna start by getting the rough outline of what I want. This is kind of what I'm thinking. So I kind of marked my two holes on the bottom. I still leaves a lot of material. Again, overkill, but it also gives me the ability to put a mount over here with some strength instead of having to do it back off here and come over. I can do it kind of off this section because the other bolt's right back here. So I'm gonna just, honestly probably just take this to CAD now because it's just gonna be easier to measure my bolts, get all my distances appropriate, and just use this as a rough shape. All right, and here we have the rough shape. Again, kind of just matching this. Obviously, I made the fillets and the bends and angles a little bit cleaner, so all my fillets on the corners are 0.50 inches. These are just tiny little fillets to make not sharp corners. Now, with that being said, I'm not going to use this for hole accuracy. What I'll do is I'll take this guy down to the engine and get my holes for the bottom and then for the top one. And I know this outline is perfectly what I want. It's plenty close enough, even if it's not perfect. If you do a rough overlay at actual like 1-to-1 dimension, it's pretty close. So that's good enough. This does not need to be perfect. This engine mount can look really like whatever, and a little more material is not going to hurt anything. And then we'll have like hole, and then hole somewhere up over here. So that looks like it's going to work. I don't have all the bolts I need for this yet. All right, here's the final version, the thicker steel. And then I've got a spacer back there and a washer on this far back one. That was about all it needed. So I'll probably end up trimming this spacer down a tad bit more, welding it to this plate, and then running like a big washer back there so it doesn't try to suck that spacer into the hole. But yeah. Now we're gonna do, and there's the part right there. All right, but here it is. So this is the final rendition. This is the thick steel, same as the other side. So you can see we just fairly clear there, but it's got about 1/8 of an inch or so. It's kind of hard to see in the footage, but then a little notch out here just because the oil stick comes right up through there. And then this is where it'll sit flat. I don't have, the bolts I'm using are just temporary. I don't have the right size bolts. And then that only puts me off needing a spacer about that far. Super happy how those came out. I spent more time the other day fiddling with my computer and re-uploading Fusion on a different computer because my old MacBook couldn't run it than I did making these mounts. So if I can do it, y'all can do it. Super simple, but I'm fired up. I mean, it's cruising along. I'm just working on it when I have a few free minutes. So let's hit the timing belt next. All right, so in the last part of this video, we did the engine plates on the TDI. I was gonna video the timing for y'all. Super basic. I watched a YouTube video to make sure I had everything right. I got the timing tools off eBay. They worked great. I was gonna video just putting the timing on, how to find top dead center without the bell housing, and you know, some of the things that make it easier. Anyways, I totally forgot. I got done the timing and I was like, oh, well, I guess we're not doing a video on setting the timing. So it's all here, it's all together, timing covers on, still missing a lot of pieces. The turbo's not bolted on. I don't have the front tensioner pulley, the belt on, but the timing belt is on. I threw my chain on here because I got something sweet over the weekend. I found a adapter plate from White Bread Performance, which is the exact one I was gonna buy, about 2 hours away from here, and I got a smoking deal for it. They're like, I say smoking deal, a good deal for it. They're typically around it was like $9.50 after shipping. I got this one for $6.50, so. All right, so we got the engine off the stand and all that fun stuff. So I'm kind of on the floor because I've just got a lot going on in here. I've got powder coating in the oven for a guy, so it's a little hectic, but we've got the starter here. So this is the starter that comes with. I don't know much about this starter. I'm just hoping that this is a starter you can buy in store or, you know, replace down the road. I want to say it was like a Toyota starter. I don't remember. We're going to leave it in the box. That's the starter. Nothing to it, just a starter. The next piece we've got a bag full of hardware. Now, because I got this secondhand, I don't know exactly what goes to what or if I need any of the Volkswagen bolts for the pilot bearing, which I do still have those, so we'll sift through this later. We've got the hub adapter spacer, so this goes up against the TDI. This is what the other end looks like right here. So we've got TDI bolt holes right here, and then these are the Jeep flywheel bolt holes. So super sick. The Jeep I bought had a clutch in it that was brand new, so we'll reuse that. I will need to get a pilot bearing for that Jeep transmission. I may try to press the one out of the Jeep, but typically they get messed up. It's a couple dollars for a new bearing. So I need to get one of those and stick it in there, but we're gonna assemble this all for now because I can do this even after test fitting and everything. So TDI and then Jeep on the outer one. So that's a pretty, I mean, it's beefy. It's a solid chunk of an adapter. So that's that. And then we've got the actual adapter here. So this is the starter spacer, I'm guessing. It sits right in this slot right here. Only one way it can go. And then this is the whole actual spacer. So TDI right here. And then Jeep is these outer rings around it farther out. So it's dirty because the guys had it opened in his shop, but the White Bread Performance, what I like about their adapter is that they give you different angle positions you can angle the engine at. All right, again, I apologize for the video angle. It's awkward, I hate it, but I don't want this up in the air for no reason, just in case it's right low to the ground. So my internet is not really loading out here in the shop. But I kind of just figured it out. It's not rocket science. So these, from what I believe, the gold bolts there should be 3, 4, 5, 6 of them. 6 of them and 6 washers. Those are going to go on the Jeep bell housing. I do still have the old Jeep bolts as well. There is, like this is a really fine thread. And the bolts that go into the TDI, these 6 Allen head fine threads, those are for your TDI inside ring here. So those go on the inside ring right there. If you can kind of see that. They go on the inner rings. So those all go on the inside. And these, yes, I'm sorry, these are for the Jeep side. So the Jeep clutch flywheel, that's all going to bolt on this outer ring with those gold bolts and washers right there. My camera's dying, and I'm going to wrap this video up there. That's how you install the Whitbread Performance adapter. Again, that's just that. The clutch, or the flywheel, the clutch, that all goes on top of that outside of the adapter. Bolts on like normal. All that acts totally normal. Nothing special there. The flywheel sticks out past the adapter, probably a good 1/2 inch roughly. So that'll bolt on, but I'm going to do test fits without the clutch and stuff on there just because there's no need to spend the time putting it on right now. I don't know if the adapter's the right angle. Once I get this in there, if I see I can clock the adapter at a different degree, get myself a little more room, I may do that. But I want the engine ideally as straight up and down as possible. So sorry I don't have the torque specs on that. It just is what it is, unfortunately. But we will pick back up when we are test fitting this in the Jeep, which is super exciting. So yeah, stay tuned, guys. Thanks for tuning in.